guys, I'm playing the 1943 Berlin Blitz. It was on the store for Oculus. It was free, so I thought I'd put a video just in case it was good. So here we go. No idea what it's about. Roll intro.
Green light flashes from the control tower. That's the sign. Our turn to go now. We're fourth to go. And the whole of our four engines are giving out a full-throated roar as we start to slowly gather speed down the mile-and-a-half long runway. Ahead of us, the third aircraft already airborne. We can see the port and starboard lights shining like red and green stars in the dusk. We're racing to join it, gathering speed now all the way past the control tower. Just a little group of ground crews giving us away as we disappear now, moving rapidly all the time. I'm just looking up, we are still on the ground. It takes all this time to get off. But now, at long last, there we go, we're clear. We're airborne and on our way to join the stream of bombers making towards Berlin.
Okay, chaps, we're at 8,000 feet now. Oxygen's on. Hello, navigator. Hello, Bombardier. We're crossing the coast now. Thank you. Bombs fused. Bombs fused. Hello, navigator. Skipper here. Nav lights off. Thank you, Skipper. Hello, Skipper. Hello, rear gunner. Is the Lancaster passing on the starboard quarter? Far away is the rear gunner. It's about 500 yards. Okay, just watch him, will you? Okay.
I'm standing forward at the pilot seat, and right forward of me, Bill, a 6-foot bomb aimer, is curled up in his compartment, surrounded by perspex jars. But right in front of me sits Scotty, our little flight engineer. Ken, the pilot, sits by him, the green glow from his instrument panel, just lighting up the outline of his face. And then behind me, we have a blackout curtain, and behind that curtain, Con, the navigator, he's an Aussie from Brisbane, just got his ruler out over our maps. The Sparky, the wireless ops, in his cabin behind Con. He's keeping his eye on Reg Pitley, our BBC engineer, with just a tiny pinpoint of light to help him cut this disc. The first time a disc was ever being cut on a bomber heading for Germany. Then behind Red, we go out into the darkness of the long fuselage of the bomber. There we've got our mid-aft upper gunner, and he's the last man I can see. Just the outline of his head and the little glass bubble of his turret. There's one man out of sight, Dev, the rear gunner. He's a Sussex farmer. He doesn't say much. In fact, all we've had from him on the intercom is everything okay, Skipper. But that's a very comforting sound, because when Dev says it's okay, it is okay. Now and again, as we watch the flag, the bright light winking in among the heavy concentrated beams. They've got every single searchlight you could possibly imagine out there to catch us. And in a moment it'll be our turn to pass through them. A dark shape is going out ahead of us. Another Lancaster will lead in. There goes some flak again. They must be having a go at us, all right. All the time, we're moving in. It's disconcerting to see that welcome waiting for us. I'm watching they've caught one of our aircraft. Up goes the flak around him, bursting in vivid flashes. Maybe after us, because the searchlights are starting to move away. They've left that other bomber, and they're moving now slowly towards us, feeling for us all the time. They're pumping up the flag in a steady stream. They've swung away from us now, swung back. I for one are not a bit sorry. There goes the flag, bursting always in that cone, and the searchlights starting from vivid white pinpoint, moving all the time, trying to follow that bomber. Again they come bending, a whole lot of them. They seem to bend away towards us, following a master beam. But we are moving away to starboard, and it looks as if this time we've slipped through. The first thing we can see now is a wall of searchlights. Not the 30 as we saw as we came in over the coast, but they're in hundreds. It's a wall of light with very few breaks. And behind that wall is a pool of fiercer light. It's glowing red and green and blue. And over that pool there are myriads of flares hanging in the sky. That's the city itself. There in the heart of the glow, there goes a bigger red flash, the biggest we've yet seen. That must be the first of the big 4,000-pound bombs going down. It's black coming up at us now. That one went down, and it was pretty near to me. Our aircraft rocked. So we're running straight into the most gigantic display of fireworks in the world. We're due over our target. We're 2 minutes time, and Bill, our bomb aimer, is forward. He's lying prone over his bomb site, and the searchlights are coming nearer now all the time. There's one cone split again, and then it comes together. They seem to splay out at first like the tentacles of an octopus waiting to catch you. And this time, as they come together, they've got a Lancaster right in the center. It's up to us. It's getting too hot with these searchlights, and we're starting weaving. Our pilots put the nose of the Lanc down, and we're tilting away a furious angle. Up comes our starboard wing. It's hitting that Lancaster now.
Hello, engineer. Skipper here. Yeah? Will you put the revs up, please? Yeah? Okay, keep weaving. A lot of searchlights and fighter flares, Skipper. Yeah, keep on. Okay, boys, okay. Bomb doors open. Hello, Bombardier. Okay when you are. Bomb doors open. Bomb doors open, Bombardier. Right. They keep weaving, Ken. Steady. Steady. Right, a little bit. Bomb's going in a minute. Bomb. Right. 2, 3. Bomb's still going. Hey, Jimmy, try to behind us, boy. Bomb's dead in there. Hurry up, Jimmy, hold on. You can... Where is he, Red Gunner? Can you see him? Down. He's come down. He's come down. Did you shoot him down? Yeah. He's got him, boy. Right in the middle. Bloody good. Keep waving. There's some black coming at me. Okay, don't shout all at once. Alright. Photograph taken. Okay, photograph taken. Hello, Skipper. Will you turn on to 081? Right, 081, navigator. Don't all speak at once now. Keep quiet. It's okay. Okay. Hello, mid-gunner. Did you recognize that fighter you shot on? No, I didn't recognize it, but it's definitely going down now. Good, Jimmy. I can see him, boy. Good show. I can see him now. Yeah, I'll see him burning. Does he look lovely? Good show, lads. Now keep your eyes on that one. Okay, Ken. Now then, lads. They're certainly putting some stuff up, Skipper. And they're putting a lot down as well. There you are. Okay, Reg. Still cutting, Skipper, Reg. Okay, Reg, thanks a lot. My God, that looks a bloody good show, doesn't it? Yes, it's certainly good playing. Keep your eyes open, mid-upper. Very good, Skipper. Some club's jettisoned his incendiaries over there. You see it? It's a leg, I believe. Yes, it's a leg, is it? My God, it's a leg. Oh, hello, mid-upper gunner. Hello. Watch that leg that's just above us, will you? Yes, very good. He's diving away. He's going over the port. By the living Jimmy, she's a wizard, Frank. Look at the stuff going. David must be dead. Oh, it's the best thing I've seen for a long time. They're still putting some tracer up, but there's not much coming besides that. No, not too much nattering, lads. Watch out. Keep a good look at the anchors. They're coming up right behind us. Yeah, right behind. Oh, Lank, how far away is he? How far away is he? About 500 yards. Yeah. Okay. He's seeing us, I think. Okay, Dev, I can see him. Thanks very much. Let me know when you get around on the course, Skip. I'm on course now, navigator. Thank you, Skip. 357. 357, that's correct.
There it goes, our first sight of England, just a little light from a beacon flashing up to us from the darkness below. And after the glare of light we left behind in Berlin, it seems small and frail. Nevertheless, everybody on board F for Freddy is mighty glad to see it.
Hello, Bombardier. English coast should be coming up now. Will you tell me when we cross it, please? Okay, navigator, I'll let you know when we cross it. I can see it coming up ahead now. Thank you. Nav lights on, Skipper. Okay, navigator. Nav lights on. Hell, Phil, do you see what I see? I can see the new moon through the window. Oh, don't worry about that. It's only Perspex anyway. Ah, Perspex. Maybe you got something there, chum. Hope so. My knees are singing the second chorus of Annie Laurie. Skipper Reg, can't our good friend the engineer give us a little bit of a song? Jock, go on, give him a song, will you? No, I wouldn't place this on anybody. Go on, Jock, don't be so bloody bashful. You'll never live it down, Jock. It's not a case of being bashful. Come on, Jock. Back. Oh, no. How about Popeye? The praise upon thee, where early falls the dew, and 'twas there that Annie Laurie gave me her promise true. Go on, you carry on now, Jock. Now, Scotchman, and he won't carry on.
I'm standing in the heart of the Nottinghamshire countryside, rich agricultural land, and the crops are ripening, and there's a summer haze over it all. It's so quiet, peaceful, not a sound. But I'm haunted as I stand here by a sound which I first heard on September the 3rd, 1943. That's a sound that nobody will ever hear again except on record. The roar of a squadron of Lancaster bombers taking off from an aerodrome here in the heart of Britain. The aerodrome is a place called Langer, and here I am standing in it now because I was in one of those aircraft. I went thundering down the runway. I can see it's still there over the hedges. It's getting a little moss-covered now, and part of the assembly area is still used as a light aircraft runway. There's an air sock trailing rather limply. There's hardly a stir of wind. But in those days, I had arrived here, sent by the BBC, to go and bomb, well, we hoped, a vital part of the Ruhr, Berlin, we didn't know. And why did the BBC pick this place and me of all places? Well, the story really goes back to the early days of the war, when the BBC, naturally, were mad keen to get a recording of people in action. But how on earth were we going to take the BBC recorders of those days into action? Because they were cumbersome. We used to cut acetate discs, and you had to drive the disc round by vast collections of batteries. And then, at last, the RAF came forward with a suggestion. Coming into service were now with the new big Lancaster bombers, and they could afford space in order to take an engineer and a commentator into action. And I was called in, Michael Standing called me, and he said, I think you've been selected to go on an air raid. So your engineer, Reg Pidsley, I can see Reg now coming to see me. He said, there's a go, he said. And, well, I was a certain thrill in my mind. So we came here, first of all calling at Grantham for the headquarters of the squadron, and then they said, you're assigned to Langer. I'd never heard of Langer before. Oh, the memories come crowding back as I stand here in the summer sunlight at Langer. But, you know, memories can play you false. After such a passage of time, well, the whole action has become almost like a great drama to me, and act after act, with myself obviously in the center of the drama. But are these memories really accurate? I thought I'd better check up before I came to Langer. And I went to the Air Historical Branch of the Ministry of Defense, and they've kept meticulously the details of every air raid that took place out of Britain. It's a marvellous historical collection. And Air Commodore Probert, he turned up the records of our very raid.
We've got here the operations record book of the squadron that you flew with, number 207 squadron. And the record of each crew is spelt out in detail in this book. And we can find here the names of the 7 members of the crew. And in fact, the writer did a very good job, as he's got your own name in here as well as having flown on the sortie. The account records the raid, and this is from the point of view of the squadron. It calls it a bombing attack on Berlin. The target was attacked at 23:31 hours from 20,000 feet with one 4,000-pound and 2 SBCs, 150 times 4 pounds, including 2 SBCs 16 times 30 pounds, and so on. It describes the weather over the target. There was good visibility. Yellow track markers were observed. A timed and distance run to target where red target indicators were seen, green target indicators were seen, and in the bomb site, the bombing was concentrated. Red fires merging into one very large red fire. The glow visible from the Swedish coast. 3 large explosions seen. The window dropped. A good prang and successful trip. Sortie completed.
Sortie completed. Well, you might even have added wizard show. But indeed, that's just how we spoke in those days. It seemed a natural language to do. And I'll never forget, when we first went to Grantham, we went there to the group headquarters, and they said, all we ask you is say and do exactly what you see. Don't put any trimmings on it. Tell the truth. And then we came on here to Langer, where we were introduced to our crew. And I know the roll call, we shook them by the hand, Devonish, Bray, Stewart, Sparks, Fieldhouse. I'll not forget those names. And as Stuart, he didn't survive the war, but the others, they had their decorations, brave men all. And at their head, squadron leader Ken Letford, well, he collected the DSO, DFC. He was so cool and calm. And I mean, I felt an old man because I was in my 30s then. And here were these young, such authority he had. And I gather he must have been about 22 at the time. And yet he had that crew in his hand. And we had a marvellous sing-song. Went to the mess that evening and we played the piano and we sang rude RAF songs. And I suddenly thought halfway through, we might be flying over Berlin tomorrow. And I said, what am I doing here singing rude songs? I remember one about there's many a Lancaster back from Berlin, bound for old Blighty shore, carrying its cargo of terrified men, all scared and prone on the floor. And it ended up with a triumphant, for heaven's sake, give Margate as our next target. And as for Berlin, bless them all. Oh, words to that effect. And as we ceased singing, it's about 12 o'clock, Ken turned to me, we were just going out into the darkness of the blackout to the hut just over there. That hut's still there where I slept. He turned and said, we're operating tomorrow. And next day, of course, there came first of all the briefing, like a school class, all being assembled in Berlin, just to be. My heart went down again. And then the ritual of going out to inspect, test flighting in the afternoon and installing our gear, and Reg putting it in the Sorbo, on the Sorbo seat, which lies in the darkness behind the pilot and underneath the rear gunner. And I remember there was a smell of acid drops all through that aircraft. And then the final kitting up. We were given something to eat. And it was just marvellous in those days. There was an egg. Bacon and eggs was marvellous. It was known as the operational egg. And I said, this is terrific. And Bill Bray said, wait till you see what you got to do to earn it. And then we went to the kitting up, armouring ourselves like knights of old, just like King Arthur's Round Table, all in rubber and plastic, of course. And as we kitted ourselves up, I remember Bill nudged me and he said, the crew next door were kitting themselves up alongside, said, they'll never go. They're not going. The pilot, they knew, and everybody knew, had lost his nerve and had turned back on the previous raid. 10 to 1, he was going to turn back again, and I looked at that face of a man, the frightened man, and something frightened in me too. I thought, can I go? And yet out we went. There was no turning back. And they took me out, placed me in my aircraft, showed me with my oxygen mask all fitted up. There was I, totally committed, waiting for the signal to go thundering down that runway. Darkness falling, dusk coming, fully briefed. And well, I'm going to relive that raid exactly as it happened. Of course, we couldn't fly directly to Berlin today. The air corridor's controlled, as you know, and we had to go by commercial aircraft on a set route. But let's get into our aircraft again. I remember its name now, F for Freddy, and relive with me that raid over Berlin.
Okay, chaps. We're at 8,000 feet now. Oxygen's on. Hello, Skipper. Bomb aimer here. Oxygen on, okay. Okay, bomb aimer.
Engineer here, Skipper. Oxygen okay.
Okay, engineer.
Navigator okay, Skipper.
Okay, navigator. Wireless upper okay, Skipper. Okay, wireless up.
Mid-upper okay, Skipper.
Okay, mid-upper.
Rear gunner okay, Skipper.
Okay, rear gunner. Thanks very much.
Hello, Skipper. Will you turn onto course 105 magnetic?
105 magnetic. Okay, navigator.
Thank you.
Turning on now.
I would like to welcome you on board this Hawker Siddeley 748, which is under the command of Captain Ash Patel. The flight time to Amsterdam is estimated at 1 hour and 25 minutes, and we shall be cruising at an altitude of 14,000 feet.
And now we're at 13,000 feet, and we're approaching the English coast. And how vividly it all comes back to me. At the moment, we are riding comfortably. There's sunlight, there's a little cloud base, but I can see the sea coming up below us now. And everything has been comfortable. I've been sitting in a seat. People have been offering me drinks. People have told me to relax, to make certain I got my safety belt strapped. And I remember Well, so many years ago, when we came up to this very spot, dusk was falling, a single searchlight was wavering in the distance to guide us out, and I looked behind, and as if a giant flight of fireflies was rising in the sky. Aircraft after aircraft, still with their lights on, because as soon as we crossed the English coast, out went the lights, darkness fell, and then ahead of us lay the menace of the Dutch coast. And now, a lovely clear sky, little puffy clouds, a glimpse of the sea, blue beneath us, and the Dutch coast lying ahead, welcoming. It wasn't welcoming in those days.
Hello, Bombardier. Will you give me crossing coast, please? Roger, navigator. I'll let you know in a few seconds. Thank you. Hello, navigator. Hello, Bombardier. We're crossing the coast now. Thank you. Bombs fused. Bombs fused. Hello, navigator. Skipper here. Nav lights off. Thank you, Skipper.
As we came near the Dutch coast, I started my first live commentary. A strange sound when I play it back again, because what happened was that there was a slight adjustment of my oxygen mask. We had a BBC microphone fitted into it, and of course I didn't realize I was speaking with a certain amount of oxygen leakage, and my voice sounds strange and slow, almost artificial. I remember when Val Gielgud heard the whole thing back, he said, "My dear chap, it sounds most operatic."
Now and again, as we watch, see the flak burst away among them, a bright light winking in among the heavy concentrated beams. They've got every single searchlight you could possibly imagine out there to catch us. There goes some flak again. A winking burst again up among the searchlights. They must be having a go at us, all right. I'm watching counting the time, watching the hand on my watch creeping round. I know that it'll be our turn in exactly 3 minutes' time.
It wasn't operatic to me at the time. Although my voice sounds slow and deliberate, I was tensed up and not excited so much as feeling I was seeing something absolutely historic. The Dutch coast coming towards me, my first real glimpse of fear, terror, and what the RAF were going through night after night. I was only going for one night. They were going night after night through this same experience that lay ahead of me now.
Hello, navigator. Hello, Skipper. You might put down in your log that there are several contrails about, will you? About 500 feet above us, I should say. Righto, Skipper. That makes them about 19,500. Right? I should think so. 19,500, yes.
We've left the Dutch coast. We've come in over northern Europe. The flattest landscape, one of the flattest in the world. Dead level until you hit the Urals in far-off Russia. And our flight is dead level too. Nothing to disturb us. Nobody shooting at us. Here we are sitting, and I look out on the outside, and there is an announcement that we're descending towards the Berlin area, advising us to make our seat beds fasten. The seat's in the upright position. When I came here last, my seat wasn't in any upright position. I was leaning out of a little bulb on the side of the aircraft, the blisters we called it, and looking down on a landscape that was starting to clear suddenly of cloud. We've got cloud now exactly as it was when we came in the old days, 20 or 38 years ago. But then suddenly the clouds started to peel back, and there were flashes from below, and the searchlights started to stab up. And I felt that terrifying fear, which I don't feel now. I feel an unreal security, a piece of safety as I go, with no trouble at all coming towards Berlin. F for Freddy. 38 years ago, it was different.
It's pretty obvious as we're coming in now through the searchlight cone that's going to be held over the city itself. There's one comfort. It's going to be quite soundless because the roar of our engines is drowning every other sound. So we're running straight into the most gigantic display of soundless fireworks in the world. And we're due over our target In 2 minutes' time, and Bill, our bomb aimer, is forward. He's lying prone over his bomb site, and the searchlights are coming nearer now all the time. Our pilots put the nose of the Lanc down, and we're tilting away. The furious angle, up comes our starboard wing. It's hidden that Lancaster now. But light flak is coming to us, going right past our starboard wing, starting slowly and then whipping past in red flashes. They're being pumped up at us in a steady stream.
We're coming now on the last stage of our journey to Berlin. These days, you've got to come down into a corridor. West of Hanover, you've got to come down to 10,000 feet. Wouldn't have dared to do it in my day with F for Freddy. We were hanging as high as we possibly could at 19,000 feet. But a corridor now takes us into Berlin. Well, I suppose it's just as dangerous now to come into Berlin to get off that corridor as it was when I came back 38 years ago. And a strange, macabre coincidence. It is equally cloudy. All the way towards Berlin, in those long days, so long ago, we had cloud all the way. We were just safe. We almost got into the top of Berlin before the flak started to come up, the searchlight stabbed into the sky, and F for Freddy started to weave, and I got frightened, and I suddenly realized what lay ahead of us was a hostile Berlin. Now, everything cool, calm, collected, the pilots checking everything over, making absolutely certain we're in the corridor, coming down through the cloud, and no danger ahead.
The Bremen radar controller now is going to hand us over to the Berlin control. This is the Allied Air Traffic Centre in Berlin, and they supervise all our flying down the corridors, and they help us to avoid any bad weather and keep general track on us to make sure we keep within the borders of the corridor.
Roger, Berlin 1040, the Squawk maintaining 9 of 5, heading 080 to intercept the centre line of the corridor.
We've just crossed the wall. We come in, first of all, over the western wall, and at night it turns orange. All the lights on it, you can see it from high up. There's an orange line right across the landscape. Then you come over central Berlin, free Berlin, and then the aircraft turns over the wall, the eastern wall, and now we're turning over East Berlin. I wonder whether we must have come out over it in my day, and now we're turning back into the wall. The wall looks quite extraordinary when you see it from the air. A savage slash right across civilization. And how strange to be flying now into Berlin, and the lights coming up below us. So different from the lights that I saw from 19,000 feet, when it looked honestly as if we were throwing down a mass of sinister jewelry, just twinkling diamonds on black velvet. Horror, horror. People looking up perhaps to us in anguish. And I didn't think of it at the time. I didn't. I was so intent on saving my own skin, and so was all the crew, and we were doing a mission. We were going to drop bombs, and now here we are coming into Berlin with no thought other than to land safely and to a welcome from the people in Berlin, who now feel that they're part of the West and going to welcome us. No, and I can't get over the frightening contrast. And again, those lights of Berlin starting to shine now in the dusk. And I remember those other lights that we lit. We dropped the big cookie, and the fire started to burn below us. And my inside clutched as the voices came to me over the intercom that we were being attacked by a night fighter.
I knock off as he goes over to the intercom, and here we go to drop our bombs on Berlin.
Hello, Skipper. Hello, Navigator. Half a minute to go. Okay, thanks very much. Okay, keep weaving, Ken. Okay, keep weaving. A lot of searchlights and fighter flares, Skipper. Keep on. Okay, boys, okay. Bomb doors open. Hello, Bombardier. Okay when you are. Bomb doors open. Bomb doors open, Bombardier. Right. Steady. Steady. There's a long time yet. A little bit longer yet. Put in some new screen.
Lob them down in the centre.
Okay, steady. Steady. Right a little bit. Right. Steady. Some still going.
Hey, Jimmy, trade to behind us, boy.
Some steady.
Hurry up, Jimmy, hold it up. Where is he, rear gunner? Can you see him? Down! Down!
Down.
He's shot down! He's shot down. Did you shoot him down?
Yeah.
He's got him, boy, right in the middle. Bloody good.
Bloody good. Photograph taken. Keep waving. There's some black coming at me.
Okay, don't shout all at once.
Alright. Photograph taken.
Okay, photograph taken. Hello, Skipper. Will you turn on to 081? Right, 081, navigator. Don't all speak at once now. Keep quiet, it's okay.
Okay, let's go.
Hello, mid-gunner. Did you recognize that fighter you shot on?
No, I didn't recognize it, but it's definitely going down now.
Good, Jimmy. I can see him, boy. Good show. I can see him now. Yeah, look at him burning. Doesn't he look lovely? Good show, lads. Now keep your eyes open.
Okay, Jim.
Frightening. And the lights of Berlin coming up ahead of us, shining in the twilight now. We're 1,000 feet. We've crossed the wall. We're into free Berlin, West Berlin, coming down now. And the beacon flashing ahead of us. And the whole new Berlin with skyscrapers on it and the Tiergarten. We're going right down the middle of Berlin. I recognize that.
Yep. There it is.
I daren't say. We dropped bombs on that. No, I shan't think about it. We'll land. I'll see a new Berlin. I'm standing in Theodor Heuzplatz, the central square of the area of Charlottenburg. I rub my eyes. I cannot believe this was our target area. This was the area we were supposed to drop the big cookie on. This and Siemensstadt were supposed to go up in a sea of fire, and I remember they were when I last looked geographically at this place. I was looking down from 19,000 feet, and there below me the earth seemed to be gnawed by fire. And now, here it is, the traffic, the morning traffic, as busy as ever. The streets all around me, reconstructed. You can still see some of the old Berlin, rather like magpies' nests, put in among the new buildings. But everything is crisp, clean. Modern Berlin is a clean city. Wide avenues, tree-lined. The square got lovely trees growing in it now. And let me confess, when we were up there so long ago, I never thought of what was down here. I was thinking to myself, my own chances of survival, the horror that went through me when the night fighters' guns opened up and we replied, and the feeling that I was going to drop down into that festering mess of fire below. I never thought down below it stood another city. So I've seen Berlin. Dare I call it our target area. And now it's the journey home. Now we're on our way home, and my mind goes back to the way we came home after the raid, when we came through that bullring of light outside Berlin and the flak flying up, and then a little saving layer of cloud again coming to lift us out of Berlin danger zone and out towards the Baltic as fast as we could go.
Now then, lads. My God, that looks a bloody good show, doesn't it?
Yes, it's certainly good praying, I believe.
Yes, the wizard show tonight. They're certainly putting some stuff up, Skipper. By the living Jimmy, she's a wizard, Frank. Look at the stuff going.
David must be dead. Oh, it's the best praying I've seen for a long time.
They're still putting some tracer up, but there's not much coming besides that. No, not too much nattering, lads.
And I remember at that moment Reg Pidsley, who'd been lying there on that sawbow cushion in the darkness, cutting all the time, making those risks. We thought we were springing up to sea, and we could look back, and the whole of Berlin was on fire, throwing up. We could see it from 100 miles away, a volcano still in a violent eruption. And Reg looked at it and simply said, "Coup," and went back to his darkness. And we came out over Sweden, so the safest way to come. And we came down over the North Sea. And as the North Sea, we came down, the boys relaxed. We took off our oxygen masks, we talked among ourselves, and we even sang.
Okay, Skipper, cutting. Okay, Reg, carry on. Hello, Bombardier. English coast should be coming up now. Will you tell me when we cross it, please? Okay, Navigator, I'll let you know when we cross it. I can see it coming up ahead now. Thank you. It's good to see old England again anyway. Yeah, after that long leave. Boy, that's a sight for sore eyes, that is. Hello, engineer. Skipper here. Hello, Skipper. How's the petrol going? Are we doing all right? Oh, yes, okay. Everything running okay, eh? Yes, it's lovely. All right, good show, boy. My knees are singing the second chorus of Annie Laurie. Skipper Reg, can't our good friend the engineer give us a little bit of a song? Go on, Jock, don't be so bloody bashful. Don't give me the wind, go on. You'll never live it down, Jock. It's not a case of being bashful. Come on, Jock. Oh, no. How about Popeye? And praise our Bonnie, where early falls the dew, and 'twas there that Annie Laurie gave me her promise.
And so, singing, we came back over the English coast, dawn breaking. We knew in our heart of hearts we were safe. And as we came down back to Langer, and we touched down, the bump of our wheels on the runway was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard in my life. All those emotions. And yet, of course, there they are, that raid, details of the raid, in the official records, so cold. We list the names, the surnames of those who took part: Letford, Captain, Stewart, Connolly, Sparks, Bray, Fieldhouse, Devonish, Pidsley, BBC engineer, Vaughan Thomas, BBC commentator. No, we'd long ceased to be ciphers to each other, and those 4 hours out, 4 hours back had brought us together in a tightly knit little group that none of us will ever feel that can be dissolved for the rest of our lives. And as I read that roll call of our names, I wonder what happened to the most faithful name of them all. F for Freddie. Freddie. What happened to F for Freddie? Our faithful aircraft.
It also shows up in our records. We have a set of aircraft cards. There's one card for virtually every airplane that the Royal Air Force has ever flown since the late 1920s. The operations record book showed that your aircraft was serially numbered ED 586. It had been manufactured by A.V. Rowe. It shows that it was with number 207 Squadron, but sadly it finished its career on the 6th of January 1944 when it went missing.
So in the end, F for Freddie never came back. What, in fact, does come back from that raid to me? Only this: the memory of the incredible courage of the crew and of the recuperative power of mankind. For all that destruction, all that we caused, it's been smoothed away. I saw it down there in Berlin. You know, we're a strange human race. We've got immortal courage. We can face anything that comes.